Hey there viewers, so welcome to my first deck profile on this channel. I'm really excited to bring this, so I will definitely be uploading more. If I've got quite a few other decks, so I'm really hoping to upload Subterras at some point this week or next week. So definitely keep an eye on that. And I also have like other anime content I'm going to be posting, and some funny anime and Yu-Gi-Oh shorts as well later on. So, and just a bunch of random other nerd stuff. So, let's talk about vampires. To explain vampires, they're a very attack-heavy deck. They're very old-fashioned in that way a little bit. So they don't have a lot of like card destruction. They have a few, a little bit, but they are mainly just based around attacking. It's a very, very aggressive deck, just to wallop over your opponent as well. And a lot of the effects take away from your life points, but you also have cards in this deck which enable you to gain life points. So that's pretty much the deck. You do a lot of normal summoning and tribute summons, and you do a lot of like special summoning from deck and graveyard. So that's kind of basic, but once you see all the cards, you know how they work. So right, so Vampire Vamp, really, really good card. I love this card. Basically, when she or another vampire non-monster is normal summoned by the way, basically target a monster that your opponent controls whose attack is higher than hers. So if they have like a shirunue on the field and she gets normal summoned, or a vampire monster is normal summoned next to her, or just normal summoned, basically you target the shirunue and basically equip it to this. And she gains attack points equal to the monster's original attack. So, say it's a shirunue, she's basically on 5k. And if she has a card equipped by that effect, and she is sent to the graveyard, basically you can special summon this card, which is fantastic. So she special summons herself, and just a really good card. So, I really, really love it. And like I said, you can normal summon other vampires, which is great. So, so Scarlet Scourge, a really, really good card. I like this card a lot. Basically, when this card is normal special summoned, pay 1,000 life points and target one vampire monster in your graveyard, accept himself and special summon it, but it cannot attack this turn. And some of the other vampires, if this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, then basically you can special summon him to your field at the end of the battle phase. So really, really good card. So, absolutely fantastic. Now, honestly, one of the best cards in the deck. Phenomenal, phenomenal card. You should always run 3 of him. Always, always. Scarlet Scourge, I'd probably say 2. I don't want... Like, if you have him open in hand, he's not that great. But I'll show you how to get him out. So I think 2 is perfectly fine, because you have like tons of way to search him anyway. So, Shadow Vampire. Basically, if this card is normal summoned, special summon any vampire monster from your deck to the field, which is phenomenal. So you can, what I like doing is using Shadow Vampire, getting out Scourge, and then he special summons another from the graveyard, and you just go on some crazy combo plays. So really, really good. But the only thing is basically when the monsters you can control cannot attack for the rest of the turn apart from that one. That's the only issue with it. So if you were to special summon Scourge, only Scourge can attack that turn. So I did forget to mention that. But yeah, honestly, it's a great card. Special summon any vampire. There's another vampire which I haven't shown yet, which I sometimes do as well, special summon if I don't have her in hand. But it's just mainly Scourge, and then Scourge bring out another one from the graveyard. So really, really good if I explain that well. Probably not. So yeah, I'll just quickly get the other ones. Now, a phenomenal, phenomenal card. I love this card so much. It is Vampire Fallen. You should always run 3. So basically what she does is when a monster declares an attack, that's any monster by the way, special summon this card from your hand in defense, and you can only do her once, special summon her once per turn. And basically if your zombie monster battles an opponent, which means if it's attacked as well, basically you can pay up to 3,000 life points, and they gain, and your monster gains that attack and defense. So if your opponent attacks your zombie monster, she can basically make you, so you can pay up to 3,000 life points, and they gain that. So if you were to pay 3,000, they gain 3,000 attack and defense on top of their original attack and defense as well. So you can also pay, it's in hundreds, so you can pay like 200 or 300, whatever you need to wall up over or save yourself, essentially. And the fact she just special summons herself from hand is just phenomenal. So really, really good card. Should always have that available. Always at 3. Right, and then last of the big boys is Vampire Crimson. Basically, if a monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can pay 1,000 life points for each that would be destroyed. Now, the only issue with this card is if they Regeki you, you have to actually protect every single monster that would be destroyed and pay 1,000 for each, which is a bit annoying. So you can't like choose, but other than that, it's really, really good. So if they have a really powerful monster and they try to destroy you, attack you, you can basically save yourself by paying 1,000 life points. So which in the long run could really help as well, and it has helped. So right, now we have Vampire Sorcerer, really, really good card. So always want to run 3 as well. So if this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, that's by destroying it, attacking it, all sorts. Regeki you, and basically add a dark vampire monster or 1 vampire spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. And then his other great effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard. 1 dark vampire monster you normal summon this turn can be summoned without tributing. So some of the other ones need tributes, and you can basically just get over that. Right, now these do very I'm probably going to replace the Armageddon Knight with another Gozuki. But basically, Armageddon Knight and Gozuki basically send 1 dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's pretty much what they do. So I'll show you which ones to send to the graveyard in a second. And basically, you can banish 1 zombie type monster from your graveyard except Gozuki. Special summon 1 zombie type monster from your hand. So some of the bigger ones that need tributes, just straight up special summon. Fantastic cards. And then the 1 Unizombie does a very similar thing. He can either discard from the hand or send from deck to graveyard, which I'll show you in a second. Right, now the combo pieces of the deck. The Heart and Soul. Retainer. Right, there's also this card which does a very similar first effect, which I'll show you in a second. Basically, when this card is special summoned, pay 500 life points, add 1 vampire spell and trap card from deck to hand. Now, this is the important thing. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 vampire card from your deck or face up to the field to the graveyard to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So that's the reason for the Armageddon Knight, Gozuki, and the Unizombie. You can basically send them from deck to graveyard. These are in the graveyard. Discard or send from the field to the graveyard, swap out, and special summon him. So if you have a vampire in hand, discard, special summon, or if you have one on field, you basically you send the vampire from your field to the graveyard, special summon retainer. And that's kind of how they work, and they're your main combo pieces. Now for Familiar, so it does the exact same graveyard effect, but adds a monster instead, a vampire monster. And Familiar is really, really great as well, because he adds monsters. Spell and trap card's great, but I would say the monsters are better. Now your main spell card. Oh, I love this card so much. So once per turn, you can pay 500 life points. During your main phase this turn, you can normal summon 1 vampire monster in addition to your normal summon set. So even if you've already used a normal summon, pay 500, get an additional normal summon. Now the funny effect is, basically, once per turn, each time your vampire monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, gain the same amount of life points. Really, really fantastic. So a lot of these have have you seen, do require a lot of life points, and this kind of helps you retain a lot of those life points and get them back. So Vampire's Desire, really, really good card as well. I'll read this, got a lot of text. Activate one of these effects. Target 1 face-up monster you control. Send 1 vampire monster from deck to graveyard with a different level of that monster. If you do, the targeted monster becomes the level of that monster sent to the graveyard until the end of this turn. So if you have a Familiar, you basically send the Retainer, and you make some really cool combo pieces. So what you can do is, if you have like Retainer, say, normal summon Retainer, use it target retainer, put him in the graveyard, and they kind of swap out, and then you kind of get some searches up. So really, really good effect. Now I love the other one as well. Target one vampire monster in your graveyard. Send one monster you control to the graveyard. If you do, special summon the targeted monster. You can only activate one of these per turn. Really, really great effect. So if you have a familiar, say, draw it, or sorcerer, do that, and then you kind of swap them out for like. Oh, sorry for that. I'm trying to quickly pause the video. So basically, you can swap this out for Monster Reborn, but I like Book Alive. Target one zombie monster in your graveyard and one monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon the first target and then banish theirs. Pretty simple, but you can replace a Monster Reborn. Send one monster you can face up. Send one face-up monster you control to the graveyard. Special summon one from deck. Monster with the same attribute and type that is one level higher. So familiar, and you do quite a lot of others as well. So Fridge Barrel, send monster from deck to graveyard, so you can get your familiar. Call by the Grave, pretty simple. Ashes will screw you over, and also ghost spells as well. So just being able to deal with those is really easy. Allures, pretty simple. Draw 2 cards, banish 1 dark monster. All your monsters are dark, and you have quite a few. Twin Twisters, discard 1 card, target up 2 spell and trap cards. Now, Vampire Domination. So, when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated where you control a vampire monster, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card, and if it's a monster, gain life points equal to its original attack. Really, really phenomenal. Get some life points back as well. And I thought I had another. Ah, there we are. And these two as well. Special summon a vampire monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. So that can help you out a lot. You can get your scourges, and you can get quite a lot out there as well. Right, now the extra deck. So Vampire Sucker, so 2 zombie monsters. She's a really, really good. I don't always bring her out, but when she comes out, she makes some plays. 2 zombie monsters with great arrows as well. If you attribute a monster for a tribute summon, you can tribute a zombie monster your opponent controls, even though you do not control them. You can only use each effect of once per turn. Basically, you can target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field in defense position, it becomes a zombie monster. Then, if a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, draw 1 card. So target a monster in their graveyard, special summon it, draw it, and you can also use it to tribute as it's a zombie. So Topologic, Bomber Dragon, Nightmare Unicorn, Decode, Proxies, pretty standard. You can probably get like Borload and Shirunue and quite a few others, but they're just ones I have available. Now, Link Rebo, because Vampire Familiar is a level 1, you can use this, and it's funny, and it sends it to the graveyard, means you can go off some combo pieces. So basically, if you draw it, and you can just normal summon it, and then just put it in the graveyard. 1 level 1 monster. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, tribute this card, change that opponent's monster attack to 0 to the end phase. And now for the great one, if this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, which means you're using an opponent's turn, tribute 1 level monster, 1 level 1 monster, special summon this card. Really, really great. Now this one here, really, really great. 2 plus level 6 monsters. So that's like Scarlet Scourge, basically. If you use a monster with a level that's owned by your opponent, so basically if you destroy them by battle and special summon to your field by using Scourge and Crimson, then you can basically use this card. Treat it as a level 6. So if, like I say, if you have a special summon monster from your opponent's side on your field, it becomes a level 6, and you can basically use it with Sheridan. It doesn't become level 6, but Sheridan allows it to be a level 6. So this is great. You can attach one material from this card, target 1 card your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. It doesn't destroy, which is great. Once per turn, if a monster card is sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard by a card effect, or monsters draw a battle and sent to your opponent's graveyard, detach 1 Xyz material, special summon on one of those monsters. So really, really great. So basically send their monster from the field to the grave and then special summon it to your field. Constella, I forgot what this does. Maybe it's good actually. Oh yeah, detach 1 Xyz material from this card, target 1 monster in either player's graveyard, return that target to the hand. So you can get yours back to hand, or often they've got an annoying monster on the field, you can basically just send it. She basically sends one monster from deck to graveyard, which is great, so you can send familiar. Now, Bram's level 5 as well, which I have quite a few. Well, a couple anyway. Detach one Xyz material from this card, then target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon that card target to your field, but only that monster can attack for the rest of the turn. And once per turn during the standby phase of your next turn after this card you controlled was destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, or card actually, so it gets destroyed by battle, special summon this card in defense. And you have Unizombie, so if that very rare chance you actually get to Synchro, I've got Bills in there as well. So yeah, that's my deck. Really consistent, a hell of a lot of fun, and I have made it a lot better than it was. And it can definitely stand a good chance against a little bit of the meta, but most part it doesn't have enough protection for me personally against card effects. But this deck is very, very aggressive, very battle heavy, life point draining, but life point gaining. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, tell me what you think of the deck. Obviously tell me of any problems, but this is my personal favourite build, so I hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to you all later.